Welcome everyone! Today we're going to talk about something extremely important. In English, how to talk about yourself. This is one of the first skills you need if you want to sound confident. Whether you're in a job interview, meeting new people, or recording a video, knowing how to introduce yourself properly changes everything. Many people think talking about yourself is easy, but when the moment comes, they freeze. They forget words. They feel nervous. Why? Because they don't have structure. Today, I will give you a clear structure that you can follow step by step so you never feel lost again when speaking about yourself. First, let's understand something important. Talking about yourself is not just saying your name and your age. That is basic. Real communication means expressing who you are, what you do, what you believe in, and what you want. When you learn this skill, your English immediately sounds more advanced. Let's start with the foundation. The basic introduction. This gives structure and makes you sound organized. For example, my name is Daniel. I'm originally from Venezuela, but I currently live in the United States. I work in the healthcare field, and I've been learning English for 3 years because I want to grow professionally. Simple, clear, confident. Now let's move to the second level. After your basic introduction, you need to expand your story. This is where many learners stop. They say their name, their country, and that's it. But if you want to sound interesting, you must explain your journey. Where were you before? What changed your life? For example, I moved to this country a few years ago, looking for better opportunities. At the beginning, it wasn't easy. I had to adapt to a new culture, a new language, and a completely different environment. But those challenges helped me grow stronger and more independent. Double quotes. Notice something important here. This sounds real. When you talk about yourself, emotion matters. People don't connect with facts. They connect with stories. Instead of saying, I studied English, say, I decided to learn English because I didn't want fear to control my future. That sentence shows personality. That shows motivation. Now let's talk about describing your personality. This is extremely powerful. Instead of saying basic adjectives like I'm nice or I'm friendly, try something more specific. For example, I consider myself a disciplined person. When I set a goal, I work consistently until I achieve it. Here's another example. I'm someone who believes in constant improvement. I don't like staying comfortable for too long. I enjoy learning new skills and pushing myself beyond my limits. That kind of description makes you sound mature and focused. Now, let's talk about your goals. This is where your introduction becomes powerful. Anyone can talk about the past. Confident people talk about the future. When you speak about your goals, you show direction. And direction creates respect. People trust someone who knows where they are going. For example, in the next few years, my goal is to continue developing my communication skills and build a career that allows me to grow professionally and personally. Notice how this sounds clear, but flexible. You are not giving too many details, but you are showing ambition. You can also connect your past with your future. This creates a strong narrative. Moving to a new country taught me resilience. Because of that experience, I now approach challenges with confidence instead of fear. This type of sentence shows transformation, and transformation makes your story interesting. Now let's talk about something advanced. Talking about your weaknesses without sounding weak. This is very important for interviews and professional conversations. Instead of saying, I'm bad at public speaking, say this. In the past, I used to feel uncomfortable speaking in public, but I've been working on it consistently. Double quotes. See the difference? Then add growth. Always add growth. I've taken small steps to improve, like practicing regularly and putting myself in situations that challenge me. Now I feel much more confident expressing my ideas. Double quotes. This shows maturity. It shows effort. It shows progress. Now let's talk about sounding natural. One big mistake learners make is memorizing a speech word by word. When you memorize too much, you sound robotic. Instead of memorizing sentences, memorize ideas. Know your structure, but allow your words to flow naturally in the moment. Think of your introduction as a flexible map. You know where you start, and you know where you want to end. But the middle can change, depending on the situation. This makes you adaptable, and adaptability is one of the most powerful communication skills you can develop. Let's build a full example combining everything we've learned so far. Hello, my name is Michael. I'm originally from a small city, and a few years ago, I decided to move abroad to challenge myself. It wasn't an easy decision, but I knew I wanted more growth in my life. At the beginning, adapting to a new culture and language was difficult. There were moments of doubt, but instead of giving up, I focused on improving little by little. That experience taught me resilience and discipline. Notice how this sounds like a real journey. Today, I see myself as someone who is constantly evolving. I believe in long-term growth and in stepping outside of my comfort zone. My goal is to continue building skills that allow me to create opportunities wherever I go. That's a complete, confident introduction. Now let's talk about common mistakes when speaking about yourself in English. The first mistake is translating directly from your native language. This creates unnatural sentences. English has its own rhythm and structure. Instead of translating, focus on thinking in simple English patterns. For example, many learners say, "I have 30 years. That is incorrect in English. You must say, "I am 30 years old." Small grammar mistakes can change how professional you sound. So always review the basic structures before building advanced sentences. Another common mistake is giving too much information too fast. When someone says, "Tell me about yourself," they don't need your entire life story. Keep it structured. Keep it intentional. Speak with clarity, not speed. Confidence is calm, not rushed. Now, let's talk about tone. Your tone communicates as much as your words. If you speak too softly, you may sound unsure. If you speak too fast, you may sound nervous. Practice speaking at a controlled pace. Pause between ideas. Let your words breathe. Remember this: silence is not your enemy. Pausing for 1 second to think makes you look thoughtful, not weak. Powerful speakers use pauses strategically. When you talk about yourself, don't rush. Own your story. You lived it. Speak it with presence. Your introduction should change depending on the situation. Talking about yourself in a job interview is different from introducing yourself at a social event. The structure is similar, but the focus changes. You must adjust your message to match the environment. In a professional situation, focus on your skills and achievements. For example, I have experience working in fast-paced environments, and I've developed strong communication and problem-solving skills over the years. Notice that this sounds professional and direct. In a more casual situation, you can be more relaxed. For example, I recently moved here because I wanted a new challenge. I enjoy learning about different cultures and meeting people from different backgrounds. This sounds friendly and open. Now, let's talk about confidence again. Confidence does not mean arrogance. You don't need to exaggerate your achievements. Instead of saying, "I'm the best at everything I do," say something realistic and grounded. For example, I take pride in doing my work responsibly, and I always try to improve my performance. That sounds confident without being arrogant. Strong, but balanced. Now I want you to understand something very important. The way you talk about yourself shapes the way people see you. If you speak with doubt, people feel doubt. If you speak with clarity and purpose, people feel confidence. Your words build your identity. When you organize your story, you understand yourself better. You see your progress, you recognize your strengths, and that awareness changes your mindset. So here is your challenge. After listening to this episode, take 5 minutes and write your own introduction. Keep it simple. Follow this structure: who you are, where you're from, what you've done, what you learned, and where you're going. Then practice it out loud. Not once, not twice. Practice until it feels natural. Record yourself if possible. Listen to your tone. Pay attention to your pauses. Improvement happens when you observe yourself honestly and consistently, ... And remember, your story does not need to be perfect to be powerful. What makes it powerful is honesty, growth, and direction. Speak about your life with respect. Speak about your journey with strength. Because every step you've taken matters.